Hi, good evening, everyone. It's Therapy Thursday. Um, I'm making separate videos for any of the emotional issues, psychological issues, and that kind of thing. Otherwise, my videos would be way too long, and not everybody wants to go delving into all the psych issues and emotional issues and that kind of thing. Uh, I have said that what I wanted to do was to tackle the issues, not wait until I get to maintenance or to those last stubborn pounds coming off before I don't want to be flipping out at that time. I want to be able to have great coping skills before then, and have dealt with or at least be aware of what my issues are for having put on weight in the first place. So what I committed to doing was getting a therapist to work through these issues with, so that I'd have somebody holding me accountable. So I've had my second session today with a therapist. I think we're gonna get along fine. The odd thing is that right now in my life, I'm actually pretty happy, and I'm not used to going to a therapist when I'm really happy. I have had therapy off and on since I was in law school. That would take it back to 1982. Um, so went then when I was just totally getting a little crazy with all the pressure that law school entails, and a few other things that were going on at that time. But at any rate, yeah, I'm used to going into therapy in some kind of uh, needing to survive mode. Um, so this is new. I'm actually in a really good place in my life now, and so it's as though I'm talking about another person now. The theoretical things, um, kind of almost. I ought to just talk about myself in the third person or something, and talk about she and her and whatever, because I'm a little bit removed from it now. But having said that, some of it is starting to come back to me of some of the issues that I had, and why I put on weight. Um, One topic that I have to put some time into really thinking about it, because I know that there are people who have had a very different journey than mine who are watching, and I want to be sensitive to everyone. And so I have to be thinking about how I'm going to put some of these issues. But one of them that's been on my mind a lot lately is that one of the big reasons that I put on weight intentionally, most reasons, most of my weight was a result of just some things falling apart with me, and they were not intentional. I didn't say, oh, gee, I want to go put on weight. But there was a time in my life, and this is how it all started really, when I intentionally put on weight. And I think that is a topic worth exploring. I have to think that I'm not the only person like that. Although the people whose videos I watch tend to be people who have been obese much of their lives, if not their entire lives or most of it. That was not my experience. I did not become obese until my 40s. If anything, growing up, I was too thin. And if you think that's not a problem, it is a problem. If you think about it, um, anything that where people are pointing you out when you're growing up, with regard to your looks, whatever it is that's going on with you, um, about your looks, you know how it can hurt. And I would say that I was oblivious to a lot of it, um, but yeah, some of it did bother me. Being called beanpole and skinny, just skinny. People would just say, "Hey, skinny," and these days that would be a compliment, but in the '60s, in the early '60s, this was not a compliment. Not at all. I mean, there were the this will date myself, but um, commercials or comic strips even about um, building your bones, strong bones 12 ways, Wonder Bread kind of thing. Milk commercials, commercials for instant breakfast to supplement your normal breakfast so that you can bulk up. This isn't just for guys. For women, it was about putting on the curves. And Marilyn Monroe was big when I was little. Uh, big, okay, big as in popular, right? Liz Taylor had movies coming out. Her Cleopatra, when it came out, I was little for that, and being named Liz, I got a lot of Liz talk coming my way, but something along the lines of, well, so Liz Taylor, you, Liz, are not exactly, va va voom like Liz Taylor is. And then that would bring on the skinny remarks. You would think these days that, oh, this wouldn't be such an issue being called skinny, but as I said, it was. Now, as I got older and more self-conscious, especially when girls were starting to wear bras and I was flat as a pancake, um, I figured that I would help this situation along by starting to eat more and see if the curves would fill out. So I started eating the instant breakfast in addition to my normal breakfast was just one slice of toast. That's something that I ate pretty typically up until I would say 10 years old, and with an occasional egg, an occasional slice of bacon, and that's about it. Grew up in the Midwest, in farm country, especially hog country and cattle country. So meat was big, but I wasn't big on eating it particularly. But then I wanted to have the curves, started eating to put on the curves, and to a slight extent, it kind of worked. I did put on some weight and maybe filled out a little bit, looked maybe a little healthier to people. But that isn't, again, what put on the unhealthy weight. That came later. And I guess I'm going to allude to it tonight because otherwise I could talk for hours about this. It'll be a recurring theme with me. But later on, as I became a teenager and in my 20s, and then especially in my 30s, um, with my then husband, um, I started putting on weight as a conscious decision to protect myself. The idea being that I got hit on. Um, I don't know how else to put it. I'll just put it in terms of my weight because otherwise it sounds um, very egotistical, narcissistic, whatever, to say that when I was looking good, is the first thing I started to say. I can't say that I was really looking all that good. I went out of my way to not wear makeup. I thought that wearing makeup was a vain thing. It was a girly girl thing, and back in those days, I thought girly girl, that was a dirty word, or dirty phrase. Not something that I related to at all. Not something I wanted to be. I wanted to be known for my brains. I wanted to be the first PhD of anyone in my class, or the first medical doctor, MD, PhD, one of those I wanted. I ended up with a JD, so at least it was a doctorate, but I was driven for that. It was not about the looks. It was not about, getting married or catching the boyfriend or whatever. Although I did do my share of going after the boys, mainly just because I could. To be honest, it was a game. How is this a problem? Some of you are asking, or you're rolling your eyes, or you've already tuned off because you don't think this is a problem. It was a problem. And it led to some really pretty serious things that happened to me in my life. You can maybe imagine some of the worst things, and I can tell you, yeah, those things. Not sure how much I'm going to go into on YouTube. I might have family members watching, and even though my closest family members do know just about everything, it's not something that I want them to be embarrassed about, seeing their mother, sister, daughter, whatever, talking about it on YouTube. So I guess use your imagination a little bit. But those bad things, quote unquote, happened to me when I was getting attention for my looks, even when I tried everything not to call attention to it. I mean, I wore sloppy jeans, t-shirts. I went through a phase where I did the Little House on the Prairie look. I had skirts down to my ankles. I would have made a really good Amish girl, to be honest. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't swear. All those things embarrassed me. I hated them. I thought ill of people who did those things. And I wanted to dress pretty much in a potato sack. Did not want to call attention to myself because I was just very uncomfortable with it. And later, it just, all my fears came true, unfortunately. So I have to work my way through a lot of those things as I go down in weight because I'm starting to get back to the territory where I was. I mean, not really that close. When these things happened, I was between 110 and 130 pounds. So I'm not, I'm 100 pounds away from that range. But still, the anxiety is starting to creep up just a little bit about associating looking good with bad things happening. So that's about as much as I want to go into it tonight. It's been on my mind. Those issues are going to start cropping up and come to the surface with me. The only short-term issue that I'm really dealing with now, because like I say, normally I'm in a pretty good place in my life. So the only short-term issue I'm dealing with is stress about my employment because I haven't gotten back to work yet. 6 weeks out, and feeling guilty about that, feeling bad that I'm feeling bad. My doctor just won't clear me yet because I haven't been strong enough. I have too many bouts of dizziness. My blood work came back fine. I just got the results back today, so blood work is good, so there's nothing going on there. So the doc just thinks it is a matter of having rapid weight loss and the way it happens to be affecting me. So a short-term issue is feeling guilty about not being back at work, but also because I've been out of work for 7 months, not only because of this surgery, but several prior surgeries prior to this and several health issues. 7 months is a long time to be out. And to be going back into that situation is completely different. I have all new everything to go back to, other than I believe I'll have my same manager and some of my same co-workers, but a completely different job. They completely changed everything around since I was there. So, it's going to be a transition on many fronts. A little bit of anxiety, but not really, not enough to lose sleep over or normally go to a therapist about it. It's all this other stuff. So thank you for hanging in there. And for those of you who really don't relate at all to being too thin or being in a period of time when you were just right, I guess, but having to deal with some of the issues that come up with people going after you because of your looks. Don't wish that for yourself unless you're really, 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 really ready for that and have your head on straight, because it's not an easy thing to deal with. So enough on that. I want to wish you all a pleasant evening, and thank you for hanging in there with me. And I would love any comments, anybody who can relate to this or not at all, whatever. Please leave some comments. I really appreciate subscribers, really appreciate the comments. And as always, I'm watching your videos too. If you've subscribed to me and you have videos, I've subscribed to you and watch yours as well. So thank you all, and you have a good evening.